Hello, and welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors. Today is Friday, March 2nd, 2012, and this tape is for Detective Davis at the New Jersey State Attorney General's office. If you'd like to ask a question, although I'm not sure I can entertain questions in this show because I got about 40 minutes of a tape to do. Here's what we're going to do. Almost a year ago, I submitted a written complaint to the New Jersey State Attorney General's office. They took that complaint, they misconstrued it, and they sent me back some bogus response that was so completely and utterly divorced from the complaint that I submitted that it made no sense. And the Assistant Attorney General, who was responsible for this, is named Tracy Thompson. Her boss is Hester Aganosi. Hester Aganosi doesn't bother returning phone calls. So this is what we did, me and my litigation group in Jersey. We're allowed to submit complaints by the telephone. So this is what we're going to do, guys. Listen up. You're going to call the State Attorney General's office by telephone. They will take your complaint by phone. They took Robert's complaint by phone. They took my complaint by phone. You're going to have someone listening in on the extension. You're going to play it by speakerphone. On speakerphone, you can have a room full of people. Hell, have a party. All those people will have tape recorders in their hands. You can tape record your complaint to the State Attorney General's office. You have a room full of witnesses on speakerphone and on extensions listening in with tape recorders in their hands. And then you're going to ask for a copy of that report so you can check the accuracy. So we're having a large law firm in the state of New Jersey try to help us with pro bono paralegals and pro bono attorneys. And we were trying to negotiate where the members of our group, Listen Up group in Jersey, wanted to go into those interviews. One of us would sit quietly in the back of the room. One person would be interviewed for like 40 minutes or so, whatever, an hour. It couldn't be longer than that. And then the other person would be interviewed and someone else would sit in the back of the room. So in other words, there would be witnesses. We wanted it videotaped. We wanted our lawyers there. What we're not going to have is our cases managed away and the system rigged like our lives have been destroyed up till now, where you put in a written complaint, words and phrases are taken out of context, and you get something mailed back to you that's completely bogus, so you can go away, go away, go away. It's not going to happen. So one member of my group was interviewed by phone. I was interviewed by phone by Detective Davis. And what you're going to do, guys, is you call up the State Attorney General's office. This is how we're going to drive the criminal prosecution forward. You call them up, you got witnesses, you got your tape recorders, you file your complaint, and then you call me on Friday, and we blast it live all over the internet. And I'm taping live, and then we post it on the internet, so now the State Attorney General's office has no reason to stop criminal prosecution. They can't. The facts are all over the place. So this is about 40 minutes, and what I've got here is some notes to sort of help through the criminal complaints against Judge Fast, Judge Falcone, and Judge Rodriguez and Jersey City Medical Center. But before we do that, there is a police detective in New York who's following up on phony 911 calls. After I was released from Rikers Island, these psychopaths who are stalking me through life made phony calls to 911, and the apartment where I'm staying at temporarily was stormed by two carloads of police, and they were told that they got a report of a woman who was being held as a prisoner against her will. So what this is an example of is trying to create consistency in false records. I'm going to show that police detective who's supposed to be following up on the phony 911 call. That phony 911 call can be traced. So I come out of Rikers. I'm staying temporarily with someone who's kind enough to give me a place to stay so I can fight this war. and her apartment is stormed by police with these phony 911 calls. I go down to the police department, I get a transcript of the phony 911 call, I go down to the local police department, they can trace that phone call. And that phone call, someone had called up and said, oh, there's a woman who claims she's being held as a prisoner against her will. And where did those words and phrases come from? Previously in Jersey City, I was held as a prisoner against my will illegally at Jersey City Medical Center. My mother, and this is happening in late September 2008, my mother went down to the Jersey City Police. She got a police officer. There's a police report. And in this police report, it says that this woman, this mother, is complaining that her daughter is being held as a prisoner. She was kidnapped, and she's being held as a prisoner against her will at Jersey City Medical Center. So this police report, which I'm going to put up all over the place, this is what really happened. And then years later, these bogus reports are made up because it's, you know, the technique that's used is, oh, she always says that, she always says that, she always says that. You see how the propaganda works? And this propaganda technique was also used in the Abramova case. So we're going to take a look at this bogus police report. Actually, this is about 45 minutes, so I want to do this first. But we'll come back to this bogus police report. I'm going to post on the internet, and I have copies, and it's going to a police detective. He's going to trace the phony 911 call, and we're going to prosecute that stalker, because I'm the one who's being stalked, okay? Now, let's get back to, this is self-explanatory. I'm going to put up some notes, because we're running out of time here. I'm going to put up some notes, and these notes are going to talk, are going to go with this audio tape that will talk you through the significant dates. So let's just change the camera view and start doing this. Okay. I'm going to start this tape recording. What we're dealing with is people who behave like cockroaches, and they run around in the dark, but as soon as you turn the light on, they run away. That's what we're dealing with, cockroaches. Okay, here we go.
Sure. Why don't you give me an investigator? Hello?
Detective Davis, how may I help you?
Detective Davis, thank you so much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
No problem.
My first name is Lydia. My last name is Radin. I'm trying to file a complaint against criminal conduct in Hudson County.
By whom?
Well, it would start with Municipal Court Judge Nino Falcone. He was hired by my landlords to pursue frivolous evictions against me. He lost against me in court on September 25th, 2008. And then he called Jersey City Medical Center a few days later and lied to them, claiming there was an eviction on October 1st, 2008. There wasn't. Apparently, he had lied to them to send Jersey City Medical Center's crisis mobile team to my house to scare me and my family. Apparently, they claim I was their patient. I was never their patient. When I went down to Jersey City Medical Center to say, listen, I won against my landlords. I won against their attorney, Municipal Court Judge Nino Falcone. There is no eviction. My landlords cashed my rent payments. Now, they put me through a ridiculous trial. I don't have to bore you with all that stupidity. Judge Fast came up with some bogus ruling on early September of 2008. It's irrelevant. In late September of 2008, my landlords cashed my rent payments, thereby accepting me as a tenant as part of post-judgment relief and waiving all previous action against me. I was in Judge Fast's courtroom on September 25th, 2008. He had one of my rent payments in front front of me. He gave me a waiver that was good till October 2nd, 2008. I had more waivers. Here's what Judge Fast did. He fabricated a ruling. He said, you know what I'm going to do, Lydia? I'm going to withdraw the judgment against you. I'm going to let your landlords cash your rent payments, and then I'm going to reinstate the judgment. That's illegal.
Okay, what are you looking for from us?
I want criminal prosecution. I went down to, I talked to Debbie Simon about this. She promised she would do an investigation.
Who's Debbie Simon?
Debbie Simon is a prosecutor at the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office.
Okay. And what happened?
She promised she would do I went in to see her with Detective Krause. She promised she'd do an investigation. It's going on 5 years. She said she can't do an investigation until she gets my medical records from Jersey City Medical Center. She never even took the first step. She never even requested my records from Jersey City Medical Center. Now, I can meet with you and in half an hour show you 10 documents that show the screening document from September 12th was fraud. The screening document from September 25th was fraud. There's a screening document from September 30th, 2008 that sent Jersey City Mobile Crisis Team to my house at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that's been deliberately omitted to create a false record. They lied to my family to scare them, and when I went down to Jersey City Medical Center to say, after I talked to the police, after I'd called the courts, after the sheriffs, after I called everybody in sight, we were testifying against my landlords. Went down, talked to the police. The police sent me to talk to my landlords to say, if you're going to do what you threatened Miss Radin's family with doing, they threatened to put a padlock on my door and throw all my files and belongings into the street. The police detective from Jersey City says, go tell your landlord that's a very serious crime, and he can be prosecuted for that. There's no eviction. After I went down and talked to my landlords, I went to Jersey City Medical Center to say, please leave us alone. We have the right to be left alone. I was physically assaulted and almost murdered at Jersey City Medical Center. The records that they created are wholesale fraud. Let me give you an example. And these are a few pages that I can pull out. October 1st, 2008. She's being evicted today. No, I'm not. My landlords and their attorneys knew that I had won against them in court a week before. There was no eviction. Now, let me get to the big picture here. Here's the case against Judge Rodriguez in municipal court on Summit Avenue. I'm going through these frivolous evictions with my landlord. They hire this dishonest attorney, municipal court judge from North Bergen, Nino Falcone. In June of 2008, my landlady went and filed a false criminal report. She claimed that I annoyed her months before in October of 2007. I didn't harass her. I didn't annoy her. I won against her in a few weeks before in small claims court, got over $1,000 judgment against her and a monthly credit on my rent bill. So they were retaliating against me 2 weeks later on October 29th, 2007, by refusing to give me heat, and I had to call the heat inspectors. Okay, I'm not harassing my landlords by asking for heat. So this is October of 2007, November, December, January, February of 2008, March, April, May, June. June of 2008, my landlords go down to Summit Avenue in municipal court to file a harassment complaint. That's ridiculous. Okay, I filed a cross complaint. We go in front of Judge Rodriguez. On July 10th, 2008, I asked Judge Rodriguez for a written no-contact order. She refused to give it to me. Now, my landlords had violated a no-contact order before, and I'm standing up in front of her with my public defender, Kevin Pervin, and we're explaining to Judge Rodriguez, if you send me home without a written no-contact order, I'll have nothing to show to the police. When my landlords violate it, I'll call the police. I'll have nothing in writing to show them. They won't protect me. We're testifying against this guy. He's committing income tax fraud. It's very serious. She refused to give it to me. I fired Kevin Pervin. I got another public defender, and on July 30th, 2008, with Jonathan Goodman, my new public defender, we stood up in front of Judge Rodriguez again, and again asked for a written no-contact order. She refused to give me one. Okay, without a written no-contact order, Your Honor, I'm going to go home. My landlord's going to violate the no-contact order. I'll call the police. I'll have nothing to show them. They won't protect me and my family. My landlords have already violated a no-contact order that was issued by a criminal court judge. So did Judge Falcone in January of 2008. Okay, I need something in writing or you're putting me and my family at risk. Again, Judge Rodriguez refuses to give it to me, telling me that she's got this verbal no-contact order, and if anything happens, I should come down to the municipal court and file complaints, and she'll enforce them. Guess what? My landlords violate the verbal no-contact order in early August, 4, 5, 6 times. My landlord slashed my door with a knife in one instance, okay? There were witnesses. There are photographs. People told him, Ralph, there's a no-contact order. You're not supposed to be here. Please go home, okay? I go down to the municipal court and try to file complaints. They refuse to take them illegally. So, finally, I go to my public defender, and I ask for him to get me a new judge, to have this judge recuse herself. He refuses to do it. He says, I have to write the judge. They're playing mind games, okay? They're just trying to give me a hard time. So on September 12th, 2008, I outed the judge. I told everybody in sight that she's putting me at risk. She refuses to give me no contact orders. She didn't like that, and she retaliated by forcing me to have contact with Jersey City Medical Center. Now, a woman named Stacy Dix-Kubiaski. On September 12, 2008, I wrote a letter to the judge, which was hand-delivered in open court, and said, please recuse yourself. I want a new judge. No judge would behave this way. In order to retaliate against me, I was told that there was a written court order for me to have contact with Stacy Dix-Kubiaski. Stacy Dix-Kubiaski falsified a screening document on September 12, 2008. I can go into those details later. Well, part of what she said was that I was stalking my public defender, Kevin Pervin, throughout the county in a menacing manner, such that he has to be removed from my case. That's not true. I fired Kevin Pervin because he couldn't get me a written no-contact order, which, by the way, is ridiculous. So now I got this Stacy Dix-Kubiaski person who's claiming I'm her patient. I'm not her patient. If she wrote an assessment of me, she has a responsibility under New York state law, under Jersey state law, to give me that assessment. Why? Because she started creating false medical records. Now, let me give you the big picture. Judge Rodriguez, from the beginning, knew that my medical school had falsified financial information. I had to disclose in June and July of 2008 my financial situation, otherwise I couldn't get a public defender. So Judge Rodriguez and Stacy Dix-Kubiaski knew that my medical school was engaged in federal student loan fraud. When I sat down on September 12, 2008 with Stacy Dix-Kubiaski, because I was told there was a court order for me to have the psychiatric evaluation. I'm like, yeah, because the judge doesn't like the fact that I'm outing her. I showed Stacy Dix-Kubiaski my bills from Sallie Mae, the postmarked envelopes, and I explained to her how my medical school had falsified financial information in a federal student loan program, a state TAP program, and a Pell program. None of that is on the screening document that she created. So Stacy Dix-Kubiaski created a false screening document, one on September 12, 2008. One of the things that she put in that document was, there's something wrong with Lydia Radin. She keeps coming down to the courthouse, even on days when there's no hearing scheduled. Yeah, because the judge told me when my landlords violated her verbal no-contact order, I should come down and make a complaint. but the folks in room 118 on Summit Avenue refused to take the complaint because it's keep it off the record, keep it off the record, keep it off the record. Had they enforced Judge Rodriguez's verbal no contact order in early August of 2008, my landlords would have gone to jail and lost control of their minor children. On September 25th, 2008, I go into Judge Fast's courtroom. This is at 595 Newark Avenue. My landlords had cashed my rent payments, thereby accepting me as a tenant and waiving all previous actions against me. So there is no eviction. Okay, so on September 12th, 2008, Jersey City Medical Center falsified a screening document. On September 25th, 2008, Jersey City Medical Center falsified a screening document. I was in court all day from like from about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Apparently, there was a phone call at 2:15 in the afternoon to Stacy Dix Kubiowski. I wasn't doing anything in 2:15 in the afternoon, but sitting in Judge Fast's courtroom waiting to present my cashed payments. Judge Fast had ruled against me in early of September 2008, but it was irrelevant because weeks later, on September 25th, 2008, my landlords had cashed my rent payments. There was no eviction. They accepted me as a tenant. On Thursday, September 25th, 2008, I'm sitting in Judge Fast's courtroom, room full of people, with the cash payment in my hand to show the judge that as part of post-judgment relief, there is no eviction. So why is Judge Fast calling Stacy Dix Kubiowski at 2:15 in the afternoon when I'm sitting quietly in his courtroom waiting to be heard? Okay, they don't see me. Judge Fast doesn't. I don't get up in front of Judge Fast until the entire courtroom is empty. It's just me, and it's about between 4:30 and 5 in the afternoon, and I stand in front of Judge Fast and I say, now I've got about 5 or 6 of these, but I don't know what Judge Fast is going to do, so I give him one, and I say, Your Honor, my landlords have cashed this rent payment. Judge Fast admits there's no eviction, and he gives me a waiver form that's good till October 2nd, 2008. There is no eviction. I go home. Are you still with me?
Yep.
Okay, I go home. Between 5 and 6, I grab something to eat. Then I go over to Kinko's in Hoboken, and I'm doing some work. When I drive back from Hoboken, it's about 9:30 at night. I'm accosted on the street at 9:30 at night with uniformed armed police, and guess what? Mobile crisis unit from Jersey City Medical Center demanding to speak with me. I don't have to respond to you. I'm not doing anything wrong. I have the right to be left alone. I'm not your patient. Please go away and leave me alone. I asked the cop, what's going on here? He's like, I don't know. I'm just the stooge that comes along. So I'm like, why are you people talking to me? Is there a psychiatrist involved? Yes, a guy named Dr. Chang. Dr. Chang, why did you send these people out to accost me on the street? They won't talk to me. They demand that I speak to them. I'm like, excuse me, you're not the Gestapo that accosts me on the street at 9:30 at night when I haven't done anything, and let me go get some witnesses to this. The next day, on Friday, September 26, 2008, to give Dr. Chang the benefit of every doubt, I go down to Jersey City Medical Center. I'm at their front desk. I get Dr. Chang on the phone. I'm talking loud enough so that my mother's boyfriend, who came with me to protect me, is listening. Dr. Chang, this is Lydia Radin. You sent armed uniformed police to my house yesterday with these people from Jersey City Medical Center. If there's a problem, come talk to me now. I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. But Dr. Chang, you can send armed uniformed police to my house. You can accost me on the streets. You've got these mental health workers claiming there's something wrong with me. If there's a problem, come talk to me now. I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. Apparently, there was a fax sent from the municipal court on Summit Avenue to Jersey City Medical Center between 5 and 6 at night on Thursday, September 25th, 2008. Now, I'm in Judge Fast's courtroom at 595 Newark Avenue. This is a different physical location. Do you understand there are two different courts?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm in Judge Fast's courtroom at 595 Newark Avenue between between about 4:30 and 5, and I'm one against my landlords, and I go on my merry way. Now, between 5 and 6, there's a phone call from Summit Avenue, the municipal court, to Jersey City Medical Center, and that fax contained the recusal letter that I wrote on September 12, 2008, where I say, Judge Rodriguez, please remove yourself. Here's the big picture. I discover months later that Stacy Dix-Kubiowski in the medical center has been running around claiming that I'm mailing threatening letters to Judge Rodriguez. There are no threatening letters from me to Judge Rodriguez. So I went against my landlords in front of Judge Fast at 595 Newark Avenue. I leave the courthouse at 5 o'clock. Judge Fast calls Judge Rodriguez. They invent this story about me mailing threatening letters to Judge Rodriguez. Then there's a fax from Judge Rodriguez from the municipal court on Summit Avenue to Jersey City Medical Center, because Dr. Chang is saying, well, let me see the threatening letter. So they fax him the September 12, 2008 letter. Guess what? It's not threatening. Where is all this coming from? It's coming from Judge Nino Falcone. Because if you go back a little bit, in December of 2007, Judge Falcone wrote me a threatening letter. I called him a dishonest attorney. He is a dishonest attorney. So December 2007, Judge Falcone writes me a threatening letter where he says, you called me a dishonest attorney. It is a slanderous and libelous statement that's going to cost you. So I go down to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office. This is like the third frivolous eviction I've won against my landlords. We're going into frivolous eviction number 4. I've won against my landlords in small claims court in October of 2007. So I've won against my landlords 4 times. Now we're going into the 5th ridiculous thing I have to go through with them. Nino Falcone, who has a reputation for being an unethical attorney, sends me a letter dated December 12th, 2007, where he says, you should be very concerned about the reference to me as a dishonest attorney, for it is a slanderous and libelous statement that's going to cost you. What is it going to cost me, Nino Falcone? Time, energy, money, serious bodily injury, my life. Ultimately, months later, on September 30th, 2008, Nino Falcone acted on his threats and had me physically assaulted at Jersey City Medical Center and almost murdered. But here we are back in December of 2000. So this is the case against Nino Falcone. December 2007, he sends me a threatening letter. I go down to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office. We go into court. In court on January 18th, 2008, Debbie Simon at the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, she's a prosecutor, she's in the courtroom with me. A criminal court judge gives me a written no-contact order. This is January 18th, 2008. I have a written no-contact order against Nino Falcone, Municipal Court Judge Nino Falcone, and Ralph Pagnosi, my landlord. About 10 days later, Judge Falcone violated that written no-contact order on January 28, 2008. He sent me a notice on January 28, 2008 to start yet another frivolous eviction, and that notice was illegal because it was sent to me in violation of a criminal court judge's no-contact order that was given about 10 days previous. So again, there was no eviction, because from the very first step, the notice requirement, to the very last step in post-judgment relief, there was no eviction. Are you with me?
Okay, here's what I'm going to recommend that you do.
Okay.
And that is write us a letter explaining the situation here.
I got it on videotape in front of the freeholders. And all this put it in writing, that's just a psychological ploy. If I sat down with you face to face, and
you're not going to sit down with us face to face because we're going to ask you if you come down here face to face. We're not set up for people to walk in off the street.
I'll make an appointment and I'll come at your convenience.
Well, you're going to make an appointment with the people in the judiciary since your complaint is against the judge. We do not investigate those complaints. It's done by the Advisory Committee on Judicial Ethics.
This isn't ethics because if I could just finish for a moment, please. The screening document that Jersey City Medical Center wrote on September 12, 2008 is fraud. It's not a medical record. They billed Medicaid for this. It's like a $15,000 bill. It's Medicaid fraud. The screening document that was made on September 25, 2008 is fraud. I go down to Jersey City Medical Center on September 30th, Tuesday, September 30th, 2008. Apparently there's a screening document from 4 o'clock in the afternoon wherein Judge Falcone called Stacy Dix-Kibiowski, and again she sicked the medical center on me, and they sent people to my house at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to threaten and scare my family. So when I went down to the medical center after I had called everybody, after I had talked to the police, after the police had sent me to my landlords, so there was no violation of a no-contact order because the police told me to do it. I go down to Jersey City Medical Center again to say, please leave me and my family alone. They physically assaulted me. They inflicted serious bodily injury. I vomited after the assault. I was trying to recover from 5 herniated discs and a pinched nerve. That's indicative of stimulating the gag reflex, which is indicative of bleeding in the brain. They held me as a prisoner illegally for 4 days. I was told there was a court order. Let me see the court order. It's signed by Judge Falcone. So my landlords paid Judge Falcone when he lost against me. He called a hospital on September 30th, 2008, lied to them, sicked them on me, and then signed a court order keeping me in the hospital and as an involuntary patient. I'm not a patient. Those people tortured me. Okay, I'm vomiting my guts out from bleeding in the brain because they physically assaulted me. They left me with serious bodily injury. They could have left me paralyzed or dead. Now, the hospital has participated in these crimes by deliberately falsifying the medical record. This is not a bona fide medical record. This is wholesale fraud. Show me the screening document from September 30th, 2008 from 4 o'clock in the afternoon when Judge Falcone called Stacy Dix-Kibiowski and lied. Stacy Dix-Kibiowski is falsifying medical records, running around behind my back telling people I'm her patient when I'm not. I was never her patient. I'm being stalked through life by this psychopath. My medical records claim things like, quote, threatened to blow up a school in Washington, end quote. I never threatened to blow up a school in Washington. I've got a security liaison officer on a tape-recorded conversation that confirms that. So you're telling me that Debbie Simon, for going on 5 years now,
I'm not telling you anything, ma'am.
Can't make a single phone call to confirm? Wait, let me finish.
Give me our address. We'll give you our address if you want it.
Wait, let me finish this, okay?
Please do.
Can you tell me your name again?
Detective Davis.
Okay, Detective Davis.
Correct.
My medical records say things like, quote, as per Stacy, patient has been mailing threatening letters to Judge Rodriguez, end quote. So when I talk to Debbie Simon, I'm like, Debbie Simon, could you please show me the threatening letters that I'm accused of mailing to Judge Rodriguez and their postmarked envelopes? You can't. They don't exist because Judge Rodriguez lied. Okay, you've got judges involved in crimes here. This didn't stay at a low level. This went up to Vice President Jim Martin, to Chairman Margalis, whose partner happens to be Jack Wind.
I don't know. I have no idea who these people are.
These are the people who are in charge of the hospital. The chairman of the hospital is a guy named Mr. Margalis. Okay, he already knows about this. Vice President Joseph Scott knows about this. At city council meetings in front of my city council member, Steve Fulop, I'm putting this on the record, videotaping it, and putting it on the internet. There's no secrets here. I spoke to Mayor Healy 4 times. Mayor Healy promised me that he would go ask Judge Rodriguez, why are you telling people that Miss Radin is mailing you threatening letters when that's not true? Look, I haven't heard back from Mayor Healy yet. Judge Maurice Gallipoli, who's in charge of supervising the municipal court, knows all about this. The only question Maurice Gallipoli wants to know is, how big is your posse? I mean, he's not even taking any of this seriously. These people almost murdered me. At every step along the way, every lie they told, every document they falsified, they knew what they were doing. That's called premeditated attempted murder. Aggravated assault, false imprisonment, Medicaid fraud. I spoke to Ed DeFazio about this personally. Ed DeFazio doesn't want to prosecute because Ed DeFazio has evidence in his hands since 2005 that my medical school falsified financial records. He's covering up for my medical school that contacted Jersey City Medical Center and lied. So you got a lot of important people here that do not want this prosecuted.
Are you ready to write our address down?
I'm going to send you one in writing. I already sent a complaint in writing to the State Attorney General's office.
When?
Last summer, almost a year ago. I got a response back. The response I got back is so completely and utterly divorced from my complaint that it doesn't even make any sense.
What was the number on that response? Do you have it?
Do you want the CG complaint? Is that what you want?
Yeah, 2011 what?
Oh, actually, there's 2. I don't have it in front of me. Let me see if I can just grab it in front of you. The Assistant Attorney General is a woman named Tracy Thompson.
All right, let me have the spelling of your last name. I'll look at it that way then. Much a lot easier.
Tracy Thompson?
No, I know what her name is. What's your last name?
R-A-D-I-N. There were 2.
R-A-D-I-N.
When I called Tracy Thompson, she couldn't even explain what she had done. I went to her boss, Hester Aganosi. Hester Aganosi doesn't return phone calls.
Okay, this was 2010, right?
2010, no, there was one in 2010 and one in 2011.
Okay, the first one was 2010. And that was forwarded to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office or Board of Chosen Freeholders. I don't know why it was sent there. Also, the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Which U.S. Attorney?
It says United States Department of Justice, New York, Brooklyn, New York. I don't know why it was sent there.
Because it involves my medical school, and my medical school is...
Okay.
Do you have any contact information? Anybody who acted on this at the U.S. Attorney's Office?
No, we just sent it. We don't have any contact with them after that, after we sent it to them.
So, okay, so you send it to them, and it could be the great black hole. You never...
Whatever. We sent it there. We don't follow up on it after that, ma'am.
So one was sent to the freeholders, and one was sent to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, and one was sent to the Department of Justice in Brooklyn?
Correct.
Okay. There was another complaint in 2011.
I'm opening that up right now. That was sent to Tracy Thompson and also referred to the Administrative Office of the Courts. And the comment made by, I guess it was Thompson. Matter reviewed, no abuse of discretion. Letter sent to complainant. Did you get a letter from this agency?
I got a letter that was so completely divorced from what I had written that it didn't even make any sense, and Tracy Thompson didn't even sign it. So here's Debbie Simon is at the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office saying, Lydia, I'll do an investigation, but I need to get your medical records so I can look at them. This is going on 5 years now. She never even bothered requesting my medical records.
Did you follow up on it?
Yeah, with Debbie Simon, yes. And when I go in to talk to Debbie Simon, I get threats that we're going to arrest you. She threatened she was attacked to try to get rid of you. She tried to bar me from the courthouse at 595 Newark Avenue.
Why would she do that?
Well, why don't you ask Debbie Simon?
I'm asking you, ma'am.
I don't know why. Here's what happened. Debbie Simon put out the word. Nobody is supposed to, when I go to the police station, don't take Lydia Radin's complaints. If I go to the Summit Avenue courthouse, don't take Lydia Radin's complaints. I was threatened by a police officer with bodily injury. I have a witness to this, by the way. I wasn't allowed into the courthouse or to the law library. I had to get Ed Florio, who's the attorney for the freeholders, to sit down with Ed DeFazio and say, knock it off. So now I can enter the courthouse at 595 Newark Avenue so I can use the law library and file my complaints. Debbie Simon was supposed to do an investigation. She smiled in my face, never did an investigation, then ran around behind my back defaming me.
You also sent something in here in 2012, I see. And that was forwarded to our corruption bureau.